Hi, happy people. If you're here, you already know what we're talking about. If not, go and check out part 1, History of Dating. Now let's start right where we left off. (1920) Chicago. Dating becomes more casual. And guess who started it? Teenagers. After school, Friday and Saturday nights, teenagers would just stand in street corners, which were popularly called dating corners, and they would just wait for a girl to catch their eye. I know, very shady. But anyways, they would hit a conversation with a girl and share information. This spot is where talking phase happens. And if it works out, they decide to move on to a relationship and start meeting outside the dating corners. Terms like teenagers, working middle class were things that were invented around this time. Women became more independent and they started to go to the big cities for work. After centuries of women being controlled by their families and society on deciding who to get married to, women finally had the freedom to choose their own partners. They started going out on dates with men, letting men buy them food, drinks, taking them to the movies, all the fun stuff. But the oldies couldn't take it. They got pretty scared. They thought that these women were no different than prostitutes. So they started calling them charity girls because these women were not getting any money in return for their favors. Here's something you may find controversial. During this time, men paying the whole bill on dates was the norm. Before you get furious and ask me, well, the women are working, so why? Let me tell you why. When women started working, all the bosses, aka men, thought that women were not working for themselves, but rather to help their fathers or husbands with some little extra money. So in the 1900s, even in America, women were being paid less than half of a man's salary for the exact same job. Yay, unequal pay, and just like that, a new problem was invented. Because women basically worked for free. Now you know why it became an unsaid gentleman rule for men to pay on dates. But things have changed now, at least to some extent. So women can share the bills or pay for some dates, but then that's each other's preferences. Anyways, let's not sidetrack here. The authorities were not cool with the whole dating scene. So they did something very crazy. They held private investigations. Spies that would actually stalk women in Chicago, hold stakeouts to find the dating corners in the city. A lot of these women were also put in jail for dating. And this guy even gave huge sums of money to fund similar investigations in other major cities in America. Talk about hate. But anyways, our lovebirds were unstoppable. They didn't see dating as something unholy. They saw it as romantic, and the authorities eventually gave up. Wait, there's something else that happened in 1920. A sociologist took interviews of college students and asked what is their plan after graduating. The boys said they wanted to be rich, powerful, and marry a beautiful girl. And the girls said they wanted to be hired as shop girls or secretaries and marry their rich boss. The shoppers thought that they need to also use the same expensive stuff that they were selling to high-class women if they wanted to impress their millionaire bosses. So they started imitating rich women. And what do you know? The cosmetic industry boomed in the 1920s. Women painted their faces and the cosmetic industry saw a gold mine. They came up with the term makeup and advertised that women who wore makeup were virtuous and feminine. The tagline was something like, a woman who wears makeup is the real woman. And that's how the art of makeup got commercialized. And consumerism was getting fat. Once dating started to be the talk of the town, people started using this word personality as something very important when it comes to dating. You would have heard people say that I prefer personality over looks. But in dating, personality basically meant charm. The girl who has it. And this became the concept of the it girl. The girl who has the personality, aka charm. Let's travel to 1950. And this is how you spell 1950. Opening doors, pulling up chairs, pecks on your hand, and tipping hats. Gentlemen worshipped their women. And when two people dated for a good while, they were called as going steady. And men would gift a piece of their clothing, like a shirt or a jacket, to the girl to make things official. Then hit the 60s and the 70s, and dating started to become more about what it is today. In 1960s, soon people started dating across races and cultures. Yay, diversity and evolution. Darwin will be so proud. In fact, one of the first public interracial kisses happened on a TV show in 1964. Then, tech and dating came close. In 1965, two Harvard students came up with a project called Operation Match, the first ever computer-based matchmaking service. So now, women started making the first move. Sex before marriage became normal. People started to be in live-in relationships. And hookup culture was starting to peak out. In the 80s, dating became super cash. No need to dress up, just wear a hoodie, hit a pizza joint, and you'll vibe. And in 1991, the internet hit the streets, and the game of dating goes to a whole new level. Match.com, OkCupid, Tinder, Bumble, you know the rest. Now, all this dating talk was about straight people. What about the LGBT plus community? Until it was safe for them to be public, things were still happening, but it was kept low-key. People would post secret codes in gossip magazines and newspapers to convey that they were also looking for a same-sex partner, adventurous and forbidden. And with all that, we all happily lived ever after. At least let's manifest that. We are at the end of our story. How much crazy do you think dating is gonna get in the next few years? Tell me your crazy ideas in the comments. And if you liked it, subscribe for more content like this. Bye.